Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donley Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. We're here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Make sure you tune into AM 560 to hear the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, and I am here with Mr. Randy Donley. We are the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, and we're here to talk about some very interesting items. And mainly what we want to do is let the folks out there know the value of items you might have in your house. And do you want to sell it or do you want to put it up for auction? Let's talk about it.
That's what we're doing here. However, I do want to mention that Saturday today is the end of Sousapalooza.
Sousapalooza, yeah. It was my birthday week. Last year it was a month. This year it's only a week.
Right.
So thank you for that. I had a great birthday week. And part of that was at the Huntley Festival over the week.
Wasn't that fun?
Last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. 3 days of fun-filled activities with bands and entertainment. They did a great job.
One of the absolute best festivals, family-oriented fun, right here in Huntley, Illinois.
You know, my favorite thing about it, though, was we had a booth set up. The Donley Auctions Hour banner was up, and we had some antiques there for people to stop by and say hi. And they did. They came in. They asked questions. Hey, I have this. I have that. I have people out there, which was good. So we were able to talk to them. And they said they heard us on the radio. So thank you for mentioning that, folks. I'm really glad to hear you're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour.
You bet. And, here we've got some great auctions coming up for you. So one of the first things is actually a live auction that we're doing for the barn sale, right?
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that because that's the next thing coming up on Saturday, October 14th. Folks, mark your calendars. Come on out to Marengo, Illinois, Millstream Road. Check our website at donleyauctions.com. We'll have the address on there. But tell them about this barn sale. It's barn auction number 2.
Right. 2 of probably 4 altogether. Yeah, because there's so much stuff in these barns. But, unlike what we normally do, which is high-end antiques, the barn sale has everything. So if you're an auction person that just likes to buy craftsman tools or electronics or, gas motors and all kinds of, anything you would find in somebody's workshop. I mean, oh, my God, the tools and everything. But now it's all laced with antiques also.
I see that. There's
kinds
military,
of cool
military
stuff.
items in there, bicycles. They have a Heister propane forklift.
I saw
belt sanders.
Susan,
oh my gosh!
I saw
a dog kennel,
a restored engine for a military Jeep. I think it's World War II era. There's just so much stuff at this auction. You got to come to it.
Something for everyone.
But it's live only.
Right.
I mean, we always tell people, go to our website and bid and everything. Not for this auction. And
it starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday, October 14th in Marengo, Illinois.
Live only.
Call us if you have any questions, 815-923-7000. That's the next thing coming up. And you know what? This past week has just been crazy with items walking in the door. A lot of people calling us and emailing us from the radio show. Thank you for that.
Crazy good, however.
Crazy good stuff. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some of the items that came in this week.
Well, there's all kinds of goodies that are coming in mainly for the November auction. We've been pushing November, and we keep saying we need cars, we need motorcycles, we need Petroliana. Petroliana being porcelain signs, gas pumps, and everything. We've had some really good signs come in this week. But you know what I was interested in is that as I'm looking through November is going to be a 4-day auction, folks.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to
Thursday, Friday,
add a day.
Saturday, Sunday. Yes, a 4-day auction. So it's going to be, wild with stuff. And I was looking at all the old clothing again.
I know.
I thought meaning really high quality vintage clothing.
Right.
If you collect clothing, this auction is going to have some
what,
beauties.
10 to 20,000 articles of clothing. This is probably our third or fourth auction with the vintage clothing. And our clothing expert came in and she goes, "You would not believe the stuff that I found." I go, "I cannot wait to see it." And that's going to come up in November. So vintage clothing sells really well.
And, I was telling Susan, folks, this story about Marengo, Illinois, years ago, had a clothing store. And the clothing store had been there since, like 1910. And when they closed the clothing store, my brother Mike and I got up into the attic. And we found all kinds of goodies up there. I mean, coin-operated machines and everything that sold collar buttons and, high collar shirts, Arrow, all these old Arrow shirts with these big high collars and so on and so forth. But we found a cache of vintage Levi's. And this is actually in the day before we were running auctions, and we were still selling them online back then. But oh my God, the Levi's were bringing so much money. They had been old stock, just put away up there for the last 50 years, brand new old stock.
Well, I did a little research on Levi Strauss. I have some great, fun, interesting facts. Especially for people who might have some vintage clothing and vintage Levi's. Here's what you want to look for if you want to identify, like, the date of your jeans. You want to look at the tag with the year that they were made on the red tag. If it's all
it actually
caps,
gives you the date?
On the button, it'll have the manufacturing date.
I'll be
on the button. If it's a single digit or a letter, it's from the mid-'70s or earlier. If it's 3 digits, it's newer or possibly fake.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But here's what you were asking me earlier about the red tabs. That was like one of the first labels ever put on garments, the little red flag on the back right pocket.
Uh-huh.
You want to look at that, too. And if it's in all caps, the word Levi's, in all caps, it was made before 1971. If there is a small letter E after 1971.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've got the factory codes on there and all kinds of stuff. But you definitely want to look at the buttons, the stitching, that orange stitching thread has been trademarked. You want to look for in the inseam if it's single or double stitched. It was made probably before the 1980s. So a lot of things to look for if you have vintage Levi's.
The Levi's that we were selling back in the day were all pre-1950s. And they were going for crazy money. But I'm told now that there has been a single pair of Levi's that has sold for over $100,000.
That's right. Well, the one I looked up, it was a pair from the 1880s, sold at auction in October 22 for $87,000. So you found something that sold for even more recently, huh?
That's what I'm told.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What I find interesting about the whole Levi Strauss company is in 1880, their dry goods store made $2.4 million
Get
in
out of
1880.
Here. Now, is that in today's money, or was that actually back then? It had to be today's money.
Probably today's money.
Yeah, but
think.
still.
It doesn't say. Levi started, the birth date of Levi's is May 20th, 1873. So we are looking for, let's try to find some old vintage clothing like that. It's very valuable today.
And it's not impossible to find this in your home. Back in the day when we had the Wild West town, one of our kids that was performing as a gold miner came in with this vintage pair of Levi's, the belted type in the back, really early, really rare. Found them in his grandfather's clothing cache, again, in
the closet,
grouping, in his closet. And he had ruined them. He had cut the legs all up and frayed them to make them look old. But here, his grandfather saved these
yelling,
Levi's
"No!"
all these years, and he destroys them to become an actor.
But he looked good over there at the gold panning.
That he did. Custom Levi's.
The denim jeans became popular overseas, like outside of the U.S., because of the American soldiers. They would wear them when they were off duty, and that's how they became popular. Right after
is that in
World War II.
The War II era.
Mm-hmm. Approximately 450 million are sold in the U.S. every year with an annual revenue of $6.2 billion. So there's a lot out there, but we're looking for the 100-year-old
That we
jeans,
are.
for sure.
Again, we bring up, the Levi story because there's all kinds of great vintage clothing that you might have out there. We started with military uniforms, leather jackets, flight jackets, and these type of things, and branched into anything that'll bring money.
That's right. And I know in our vintage clothing museum over there at the Wild West town, there's boxes of women's undergarments.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, she goes, you would not believe what I found. Boxes of undergarments. She said they are extremely valuable. So a lot of great items you wouldn't even be thinking of are coming up in auction in November.
That's right. And you wouldn't think of that as November merchandise, but if it's expensive, you'll find it at Donley Auction in November.
That's right. Check out our website at donleyauctions.com. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to talk about vintage electronics again because we're going to have a music expert on with us either in the next segment or the segment after that. So stick with us. You're listening to AM 560 right here on The Answer. Don't go anywhere.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois, here with Randy Donley. We have a special guest on with us today. His name is Louis DePasqua, and he's our music expert, one of our favorite employees, I'd have to say. Louis, you're so fun. He walks around the place singing all day long. Hi, Louis. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Louis.
Susan and Randy, thanks for having me on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are fun. We've done a lot together over the years.
That we have. I mean, you're a collector extraordinaire of all kinds of the best quality antiques. I mean, I absolutely am always impressed to see your collection at your home. But, would you remind our listeners a little bit about yourself? I mean, I've talked about you being in a band before, or bands plural, and what you've done with Fender guitars. Could you remind the folks out there, kind of
Give us a little bit of your resume. My favorite is the Fender technician. Tell us about all your expertise.
Well, it's two aspects of it. One being on the musical side as a performer, and the other side being as a technical person in the music industry. For many years. So claim to fame working with the rock band Styx.
We all know and love.
Band.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from Chicago. And years ago I was a backup keyboard player on a reunion tour and worked with them and worked with other local bands. Survivor, Jim Peterick produced Pride of Lions. And so a lot of fun stuff being a keyboard player, guitar player, and singing on some of that stuff.
Well, how
Along
fun.
with that, being a service technician in the electronic field for years too, on major manufactured products related to music, so audio and so forth.
Right.
So,
how fun is that to have found a job with us at Donley Auctions where you can kind of merge all of your passions all in one place with music and working on instruments. Whenever we have a piano in, there's Louis over there playing Queen song for us. We love it. You're multi-talented.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been great working with Donley Auctions and just seeing all the incredible stuff that comes in the door.
I know,
well, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today on the air. We do have, and we've mentioned this before, we do have a major collection of electronics coming in. I think we're going to do it in February or March. I mean, it's a big collection. But what kind of items should our listeners be looking for in their homes to call us with? Because we certainly want to keep a price point. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not selling items at Donley Auction that are $5 and $10. I mean, so Louis, what type of things might they have that are valuable?
Yeah, twofold, being the music stereo equipment, looking at vintage equipment tubes, solid state, Marantz, Macintosh, Eltec, Sansui, Dynaco, even Western Electric, Nakamichi. So for the home consumer products and speakers, stereo speakers, Advent, Boston Acoustic, Clips, just good quality equipment. On that side, for the vintage music, hi-fi stuff.
Okay.
And then also we take in professional on-stage, guitars, amplifiers, Fender, Gibson, Martin, the famous Gibson Les Pauls, Fender Stratocaster, Telecaster, Gretsch, a lot of the higher-end stuff, recording equipment. Don't overlook the synthesizers, Oberheim, Moog, ARP, microphones, which would include Neumann, Sony, Telefunken, AKG, and on and on. So good quality stuff. Yeah. And, we can review that stuff too. And Susan, you can give however you want to handle photos coming in, through email.
Okay. But, let me tell everybody right now, if you do have something like that, don't hesitate to call us because we are looking for some great items like that to get the foundation for our next vintage electronics auction. Send us photos. That's the first thing. We need to see what you have and where is it located. How much of it do you have? Email us at consign, CONSIGN, at DonleyAuctions.com. Send us an email. Right. And then we'll put you in touch with Louie.
Or you can go right to our website, right, and find all that information
always.
Again.
DonleyAuctions.com.
Yes.
Yeah, so you may even be talking to Mr. Louie DePasqua
I would
with
love
your
it.
items. He'd tell you what you have for sure.
Right. Sounds good.
So, Louie, we've sold guitars in the $30,000+ range before, but there's guitars that go into the hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Yeah, like a Gibson Les Paul, a '59 Flame Top. They could be 500,000, nice. Or a rare, 59, 60, 61 Carina Wood Explorer or Flying V, which can bring up to $1 million. We're talking on the high end. But let's not forget about also in the 60s, there were a lot of guitars made that came from, let's say, Japan. And some of those are the lower end stuff, but it still brings decent money. So if you've got an old guitar laying around, send us a pic.
Well, and, I bring this up because, one of the reasons people go to garage sales and flea markets and everything is to always find that bargain because people just don't know. And they've had it in their house forever. And, it might be a hand-me-down, so they don't know the story of it, the history of it and everything. And they just think of it as an old musical instrument. And so often this stuff does turn up for pennies on the dollar. At garage sales, and that's why I'm always warning people, you have to check this stuff out, and that's what we're here for. We don't necessarily expect to consign every item that, but we're here to give you free advice and free opinions as to what we think the value is.
Louie, I have a question for you. Do you own any autographed guitars? And if so, how do we authenticate those autographs? And is that something that you would be able to give us advice on?
Yeah, there's definitely people that I know that know signatures that if somebody sends a guitar in, we want to verify the signature, and there's some contacts that we have internally to review those, and that always helps.
Yeah.
And Susan, here's one thing that, we always are preaching provenance here. Mm-hmm. You have to have the provenance of the item. And very often, and in so many cases, when somebody did get a guitar autographed or what have you and presented to them, they normally have a photograph of the celebrity signing it at the same time.
Right.
And that is so important to keep with the musical instrument.
Right.
What do you have, Lou? You got anything from Eddie Van Halen by any chance?
Yeah, I think I have about 4 or 5 of his guitars. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I wish. Darn it.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
I do know somebody that has a Jimi Hendrix Stratocaster.
Wow. I have a friend who told a friend of a friend, hey, I've got a whole room full of guitars. I'm just not ready to sell them yet. Like, okay, that's fine. But when you're ready, let us know because we are definitely going to be doing a music and a vintage electronics auction next year. So now's the time if you're listening, sir.
with Donley Auctions, the ability to market internationally.
Right. And remember when we held the Grateful Dead Family Jubilee auctions? We did a couple of those. The market that we have just in that group of people has brought all of these other experts and famous people to our auctions. So thanks to the Grateful Dead auction. Oh, my gosh.
Mouse.
Well,
Stanley Mouse,
we were all out to see Stanley Mouse in California. Is that about 6 months ago, Louis, or is that longer than that?
It was earlier this year. We flew out for a couple days out to the California and
check and make sure he's doing okay.
Yeah, and we seen some incredible stuff.
And Stanley Mouse, in fact, has a piano that he wants to consign with us, which is the recording piano, the Steinway, out of, is it CBS Studios?
CBS Studios, California.
Let's make sure we get back on that, too, and
absolutely
let him know we're ready.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, Louis, thank you so much for being on the show today. Again, if you have any vintage electronics, Louis, he's our man who can answer all of your questions. Call us at 815-923-7000. Louis, looking forward to the concert back at the office later today.
Sounds good. Thank you, Susan and Randy.
All right, talk to you later. Don't go anywhere. Join us after the break. You're listening to the Donley Auctions here every Saturday at 1 o'clock on AM 560, The Answer. We're going to be talking about the Donley Group, our real estate division, with Shauna Donley coming up here soon. And we're going to give you an update on our calendar. So we want you to come out to Union, Illinois, folks, and visit us. Come to an auction. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. Don't go anywhere. Donley Auctions Hour, AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, and here with Randy Donley, and we've been talking today about vintage clothing, old Levi's jeans, Levi Strauss & Company, and vintage electronics. We have so much stuff coming up auction-wise, but I also want to have you mention, Randy, what's coming up in December. You know, we hold auctions once a month.
Absolutely.
Our next big one is November, 4 days. But also in December, now is the perfect time to consign for our gun and military auction. Take it away.
It is. And, it's funny because so many things cross over. You're talking about clothing a few minutes ago. Well, what better than military uniforms for December? I mean, we're always looking for high-quality military groupings. And a gentleman just brought in his father's grouping. That's his military career started in World War II and went all the way through the late 70s. And it just he had everything. He had the gentleman was a pilot, and he had all of his uniforms and everything. So we're always looking for these groupings with provenance and photographs and so on. So that's the clothing aspect. But one thing that I like to point out, too, is that we do get around. I mean, we're out and about.
Round, get around.
Okay.
Where's Louis to sing for us?
We do, yes. Thank you.
Yes, we do get around. So
we're going to be at the Kane County.
For example,
tomorrow, Sunday. We're going to be at the Kane County Sportsman Show at the Kane County Fairgrounds. We're set up as exhibitors there to both hand out literature and to meet you. Come on out. If you've got anything that you want to consign, either bring photographs or bring the items on out. We're always looking for more. It's a
show.
It's a firearms display and so on. So anything you've got. But in December, we have just acquired, the fabulous, I just keep using these same words, fabulous, extraordinary, and everything, a phenomenal collection of German military relics that we had pulled out of Florida. We've talked about this before, but that is coming up in December. German daggers. So, my goodness, if you have, anything, German, German daggers, medals, insignia, uniforms, helmets. My goodness, again, prices are skyrocketing.
Did you mention the ordnance collection? Because those items sold really well at our September auction. That was just a little sampling of what's coming up in December.
Well, and that's it. So many of these hobbies have their little separate, hobbies inside the hobbies. And ordnance is a hobby inside the military collecting group that is really interesting, and that is people who collect, old hand grenades or cartridges and ammo and field artillery shells and everything.
Even trench art, too, kind of falls into that,
Yep,
doesn't it?
It all does. So, again, if you've got these kind of items at home or in the garage and said, what have we been doing with this all these
Collecting
years?
Dust, literally.
Now's the time, because what do we say? We make it fit in
your
your wallet. Yes. All
Get it
this
out of the
stuff.
garage, get out of the Foot Locker, and we'll make it fit in your wallet. But to do that, you have to email us. We got to see what you have. Consign at DonleyAuctions.com.
Now, just to tell you the values of things, we have a single German helmet that potentially could go for $10,000.
Really? Where is it? I haven't seen it yet. Oh, there it is. Okay,
Yep,
there's a
we've
photo
got
of it.
A photo of it on our flyer right now.
Okay.
We'll put it on our website, too,
Yes.
for you, because, these are the things that show up.
People don't realize they have it.
We just
until
picked
they talk to us.
this helmet up locally right here in Illinois.
Do not just give it away or put it in a garage sale, folks. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. I have military and firearm experts on staff with us who can answer any of your questions.
Absolutely. So again, when you ask about December, what's going on, and I keep preaching this also, is that we'll help out municipalities. I mean, there's a lot of people that say, hey, because it's a liability now, we want to get rid of the tank in the city square, or we want to get rid of the cannon.
Yeah, we just sold a cannon the other day.
These are all things that we can help you with. So, City of Chicago, if you've got any park pieces, whether they be statues or ordnance or
a tank,
tanks or cannons, I mean,
it's always bigger for
we
us
can
things,
sell it
that's
for
sure.
you. And
what I
help
love
with
is,
the.
we do auctions once a month, and we used to do gun and military auctions like every 4 months. Now we're doing them every 2 months because we have such great merchandise that's coming in from our listeners and from our publications and advertising. But we had so much stuff for our September auction that we need to put it now in December. So we're already building a fantastic auction for December, and those dates are December 16th and 17th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. So my suggestion always is to come out to the auction, give us a call, put in some absentee bids, or now you can bid on our very own bidding platform. We have a Donley Auctions bidding platform that's going to save you money on the buyer premium and processing fees. More about that on our website. Go to DonleyAuctions.com. But coming up in our next segment, we're going to be talking to Shauna Donley with an update on the Donley Group, our real estate division, and what's happening with the Wild West Town. Anything else, Randy?
That'll do it for this segment.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. You're listening to...
Always out of time.
I know that we need more time, that's for sure. Donley Auctions Hour, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. Thanks for sticking with us during that short break. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with my partner, Randy Donley. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Susan. One thing I wanted to point out is that, along with me constantly saying we don't have enough time with this show, I want to be able to talk with our listeners.
Oh, boy. Can you imagine that? How much fun?
And that's coming up. So I want to let everybody know we are working on this show becoming live to the point where we can take in your phone calls. And
we start thinking about some interesting things you might have that you want to ask us about.
It's my understanding that we're going to be testing that out in November.
Either early November or mid-October. I have 2 dates in mind, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, because we want your calls. It's going to be fun. Find out what you have to say.
Fun and interesting, I'm sure.
And we do have Shauna, my daughter, with us today, who heads up the Donley Group, which is our real estate division, so to speak.
Hi, Shauna.
Shauna, you there?
Shauna Donley on the line. Shauna does head up our Donley Group, our real estate division. And, last week you had some very interesting information for folks who are wanting to move yet this year. What can you tell us about that again?
Yes, absolutely. Well, like we had said, Randy had the question, is it still possible for someone to move out of state before the end of the year? And Although typically we would tell people, don't get your hopes up. It is happening. We just put 2 more houses under contract last week, and those are both brand new listings.
Wow.
So the market is moving regardless of what the news is telling you, what lenders are telling you. So it's definitely good. And both of those had multiple offers.
Wow.
So
That's great.
people are buying, people are getting loans, people are paying cash. It's all different types of buyers out there. So it's not too late. We did also get another phone call. I don't know if this person listened to us on the radio or not, but we did get another call for someone who wants to sell in the spring. And like I said on the last show that I was on, now's the time to take photos before it starts to snow.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You don't want to list in February and have snowy pictures if your goal is to get out of state. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, it might even snow next week, I heard. Is that true? Please tell me it's not. It's going to be in the 30s.
I hope not.
I do not like that idea.
So
Another reason to move.
So, Shauna, what's the easiest way to contact you?
definitely you can go to our website where my email and phone number is on there. You can call me direct, send me a text or an email, either way. And one thing I want to remind people, again, keeping in the theme with last week, is it's still possible to move out of Illinois. There are plenty of other states that people hate. So if you are in one of those other states that you would like to get out of, give us a call, because I have partners in all 50 states. I work with At Properties, Christie's International, and we will be more than happy to help you.
But isn't it funny, Shauna? We have that whole mixed bag. I mean, we're selling property to people who want to come to Illinois, yet we have people that say, I can't wait to get out of Illinois. So just as many people are still coming into Illinois that are very happy with, apparently, with the way things are, because certainly real estate is selling.
It's definitely selling. You know, we see a lot of investors too right now. So because the rental market is so hot. The rental market boomed during the height of COVID, and especially in the city of Chicago, it has just gone gangbusters. So we are seeing a lot of investors, whether they are local or also out of state. You know, sometimes the investors live out of state, but they look at a state like Illinois and say, oh, yeah, you know, we can make some money here. So it's a good opportunity.
A big point to people is, under no circumstances does anybody have to panic sell to sell their property in Illinois, because you keep getting offers more than full price.
That's true. Yep. So it's actually kind of interesting, because a lot of people hear multiple offers and everybody thinks over asking. Well, these two that we just put under contract, one, all of our offers, all four of them were over asking. And then another one, we had 3 offers all under asking. So it really depends on the market, where you're at. And also, from one week to the next, properties can be sitting stale or get multiple offers. You have no idea what's about to come down the pipe. The importance is to price it right, hire a professional that can advise you.
Speaking of advice, Shauna, I do have a family member who is having some issues in the state of Michigan with rental property. Is that something we can call you for advice on and give us some direction?
You absolutely can. Yep. I'm always happy to be an advocate for anybody who's looking to invest or buy or sell, or who's already in the midst of it. I'm always happy to help. No pressure to work with me or my team. You can definitely reach out, and I could put you in touch with either someone I know or someone that I can highly recommend.
Right, because you have so many great connections. So that is the place to start. It's Shauna Donley, the Donley Group.
And Shauna, your At Properties connection is in every state, are you not?
You know, we are not in every state, but I do have broker partners in every state.
Okay, good.
Yep. All right, make sure you contact Shauna through our website at donleyauctions.com. Let me spell that. Not everybody knows how to spell Donley, right? It's Donley, auctions with an S, donleyauctions.com. Everything you need to know about what we have coming up, what we're looking to consign, what we're looking to auction off, our calendar, everything is on there.
You know, and this is it, folks. So many times we get the call for real estate because you call us to sell off the contents of your home. And,
one-stop shop.
So we can do it all. Not only can we sell the contents for you, but certainly take it to the next step and sell the property. I always say the money's in the real estate.
Well, thank you, Shauna. Any last words? We got about 10 seconds here.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, when you go to our website, you can even start your property search right there by clicking on our real estate tab. You can see what your home is worth, and you can start a search and just see what's out there anywhere in the country.
Wonderful. In case you missed any of that information we just spewed out to you, call us at 815-923-7000. Happy to answer any of your questions. You're listening to Susan and Randy here on the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560. The Answer. Don't go anywhere. We are not done yet, folks. See you soon.
The Donley Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560. The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. We're talking about items you might have in your home that you might find valuable and want to put up for auction. But you know what, Randy, you've had a couple things you want to add here real quick, and then I'm going to wrap up with all the administrative stuff.
Okay. Well, first, we're always too far out of time. But I want to point out that we've got a live clearance sale, folks. And this is a live-only auction that's coming up Saturday, October 28th. But along with the auction, the live auction we're going to do, we're actually going to have one of our buildings open as a walk-through.
Buy it now kind of
right,
thing,
yeah,
right?
A tag sale.
Oh, my gosh.
Exactly. That is going to be fun.
And
do not miss
all
that.
Items that we've had that didn't sell or were abandoned by customers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We just
Good
have
deals.
rooms full of stuff that have been in auctions multiple times. Time to get rid of it. We need the space. So mark your calendar, October 28th. You have to come out to Union.
Going to go. And then, we've talked about the Playboy auction that we have
and
coming up, which is
art,
with all the comic art and everything that was from the Playboys. So I do want to point out that we are still looking for more. Playboy items too. I want a bunny suit. Anybody out there that has a Playboy bunny costume, I want one for this auction. But we're also looking for any old cartoon art, original. We don't want copies or that type of thing. Comic book art, cartoon art, any originals, and that stuff is out there.
And
so
we know the grandson of the guy who did the art for Spencer Tracy.
Wow,
remember that?
Yeah.
We have to get in touch with him, see if he's ready yet.
That we do.
That would be great stuff to sell.
So you wanted to take it home with administrative. You want some help, you said.
Just real quick. Yeah, we're always hiring, always, because the company's growing so fast. I need experts in the collection fields that we've been talking about, in military, firearms, coin-op, Petroliana. The list goes on and on. Do you have an expertise, and are you I know everything about this particular topic? Call us at 815-923-7000. We would love to hire you on your schedule.
Absolutely. We're looking for people that have unusual hobbies.
Yeah, who know more than us.
Know their field.
We got to get these items described, and we are very well known for how well our descriptions are listed on our auctions, and we just have such great stuff coming up. We need those experts out there. So that's one thing. We're now hiring there. We're also hiring in our shipping department because 80 to 90% of the items we sell gets shipped across the world, not just the United States. So we do need some help in our shipping department. If you have experience, great. If you don't, we'll train you. Again, I also need people on the floor who can help us set up an auction and do some general labor, go out on pickups, drive a truck and trailer. What can you do? We'll find a job for you, right, Rand?
You got it. I mean, we need help right now.
That's right. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. Also, we have our own bidding platform now. I mentioned it earlier, and I think I mentioned it last week. But last week was the first auction that we used it at 2 weeks ago, our September auction. And the feedback we're getting is phenomenal. People love our new bidding platform. So if you do not live anywhere in the area and you'd rather bid online, please go to DonleyAuctions.com and bid on our new website. We will save you money on the bidding fees and the processing fees, right? Who doesn't want to save money? That's one thing I love to do is I tell people if you're going to bid there, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you got to come see us at DonleyAuctions.com live. For the least expensive way to bid is to be there live. So check our calendar on DonleyAuctions.com. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. We'll tell you how to bid and how to save money. So tune in next week. We will have another show about some interesting items. But for now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donley. And we'll see you at the auction.
Thanks for listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonleyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonleyAuctions.com.